Another exclusive live session with the Hype Magazine.
You need to stop what you're doing. Pay attention.
World famous Hype Magazine. Going down right now.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Ice-T representing for Hype Magazine. Stop playing.
Hey, what's good, everybody? This is your favorite talking head, Dr. Jerry Doby, editor-in-chief of the Hype Magazine. I am at the 2025 NAMM show. I'm with an amazing person whom I'm blessed to get to meet. Her name is Karla Ortiz. The reason why I'm really interested is because when I first came into the business, Vydia, which was a company where she was the vice president of marketing and label services, they were the first one-stop for your visual distribution. So if you had video, it would send it to your YouTube, your Facebook, your Vivo, Vimeo, all of that good stuff. So amazing. So she was a part of this panel called Creating
a Sustainable Career in Music.
A Sustainable Career in Music here at the NAMM 2025. She's also now the founder of Monark Entertainment, which is a multifaceted company. We're gonna let her talk about it, but thank you for the time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so very interesting panel. You got an opportunity to talk about sustaining relationships and sustaining your career, and some tidbits, some do's and don'ts. We're in a new marketing age. There's an evolution of marketing. It's no longer just Instagram. We're way beyond just going on TikTok. There are a lot of tools and resources that are being offered to emerging artists and creatives. Can you talk to me about what you do with that and Monarch and how you see the evolution of the digital age?
Yeah, so I think that we're in a unique period of time where artists have complete control around the narrative and what they want to expose of themselves. Being able to manage and lean into Instagram and TikTok and YouTube in particular are really great tools and resources where you can really broadcast the message and the visual and audio content that you create. And I think in terms of sustainability and the overall optics, it's extremely important that you remain steadily active on platforms that you're able to keep up with, as opposed to trying to spread yourself thin and trying to keep up with everything. And I think that now more than ever, you can activate different levers on these platforms to help, push you through and to the forefront of those that follow you and beyond, building, similar lookalike audiences and really utilizing data to help you with your creative as well as with your approach and strategy to reach the fans that, you really want to be engaged with.
One of the other things I heard you talk about was the timing. The old traditional, 6 to 7 weeks, a new drop, thing, plus the 12-week rollout and all that is not necessarily effective.
Correct.
Anymore. And so, as the subject matter expert on marketing, which is, of course, the act of differentiation with someone from another, you laid out some tips about consistent, good quality music, consistently releasing every maybe couple of weeks if you have it, not sitting things in the vault and just holding on to them. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think the biggest investment as an artist is building up your catalog and making that catalog available, because you now have an arsenal and a body of work that you can actually showcase and speak to in terms of your creative capabilities and your overall vision and messaging. In terms of keeping up with, the algorithmic systems and, the AI that's intertwined with a lot of these digital service providers, it's important to have a steady set of content that you're releasing, more so along the lines of every 4 to 6 weeks, or spreading that out as long as it's aligned with quality content. You don't want to water down your catalog and you don't want to, misrepresent yourself. But making sure that you're keeping up with an active, steady, level of content to market will help you continue to engage the fans that follow you, as well as be considered for other potential marketing or promotional opportunities that some of these outlets offer, because you are an active, engaged artist on the platform.
Okay. You were also at Universal Records, or Universal Music Group
Music, yeah.
for a while. And they have some heavy ways to move things. I'm asking, we have to be more agile now as creatives. So are you a fan of the short form content to promote or to lead up to releases, you know, using the shorts and the clips of the video before the actual release dates?
I'm a fan of pre-release promotion. I don't think that you should oversaturate the market with too much pre-release campaigning, because you fatigue the audience, and that becomes a problem. By the time your music is actually available, people have either assumed it was already in market or have lost interest. So you have to, it's a delicate time frame and dance in terms of how much you release and when. I think some of the major labels have unfortunately leaned into the TikTok craze and the notoriety around it, and almost kind of flipped the switch and tried to aggressively pre-promote content months and months and months in advance in an effort to see if there would be some sort of viral opportunity. And I think that's actually backfired in many instances. So I think if anything, you want to make sure that you're completely buttoned up before you release content, and then really aggressively unleash content after your single and video are in market, so that you're actually driving people to something they can consume as opposed to just a big tease.
Okay, so instead of the visualizer getting ready for the video to drop, or if you were to use the clunky version and to make that a little more brief, how many weeks would you suggest for an independent artist who doesn't have a massive audience following?
I would say 2 to 4 weeks, and I think at the core it's important to have a clear story and a clear narrative. I'd love to learn, and I think most consumers want to learn about the story and the backstory behind the content that you've created, how it came to be and why you are releasing it. And I think building that up in advance of the release is more important, so that you have that connectivity and you inspire a reason for people to want to immerse themselves in not only the content that you're releasing single or video wise, but if it's an EP or additional singles that are coming, thereafter, having that personal connection to it in some way is important.
I also heard you talk about people come in and say, oh yeah, I got a manager now, I've got this, that, and the third, and I'm gonna blow up overnight. Talk to us about your outlook on realistic expectations in the business.
Yeah, so that goes back to the notion of emotional resilience and having patience at the core of it. Nothing in this industry happens overnight. If it does, it's usually haphazard or a serendipitous opportunity. But everything is a building block, and it really takes developing a foundation and then building on that foundation, and again, creating that consistency and understanding that not every opportunity or offer that comes your way is the right one. You really need to evaluate what's going to align with your own personal objectives as an individual, as a musician, as a professional, as well as from a genre standpoint. That's really key.
Okay. Time management does seem to be a huge issue. These kids are the next generation, I call them. They're everywhere at the same time. You mentioned managing your time wisely and your efforts wisely, especially if they're coming to Monark. What tools and resources do you recommend for like time management, writing out notes? Is it to-do lists, and you shorten the time period to like 2 weeks, especially for an independent artist without a massive following?
Correct.
Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I think, it goes back to not trying to spread yourself too thin. A lot of artists are exhausted by the thought of having to be active on a day in, day out basis across multiple social media platforms, and it is exhausting, and it does take a lot of time and a lot of work. I think there's a lot of important resources and tools out there where you can work with designers and other content creators, maybe even exchange services in some capacity or barter in some way, where they can offer you services at no cost, but in exchange for something. Organizing your thought process around what visuals you want to create to support your audio content, and putting together a mini team to help you execute that, not expecting everything to be done by yourself, because that is really challenging. And then, earmarking key content creation dates, maybe once a month or once every 2 weeks, so that you have front-loaded a set and series of content that you can then schedule out, so that you're not having to get online and post every single day, but rather schedule it out for every 2 to 3 days in support of the upcoming single or post-release.
Okay, so items maybe like My Marquee or Plannable, where you can put your social media content and schedule that out for 30 days out, and
Correct.
you're not standing in front of the camera.
Other platforms are Hootsuite and Sprout Social. Sprout Social also has a really great companion blog with a lot of information about the latest updates and enhancements from Meta to TikTok to other platforms that just help the end user better understand their tools and resources and how to maximize their presence on the platforms.
Okay, you brought your expertise over to the LA College of Music as well. Talk to me about being a part of this amazing movement, and I'm just hearing about it for the first time. So, how do you participate in that, and what do you see from this learning experience?
It's been an amazing journey teaching at the Los Angeles College of Music, as well as providing counseling services for students who are aspiring musicians, managers, business professionals. I specifically teach digital distribution, which is important because you can't release and consume music without a solid distributor to bring it to market, and understanding the layers of distribution that's out there, especially on the indie level, is key. And knowing and understanding who can help provide the tools and services that are necessary to elevate your content and support you on a promotional level or a sync level or a radio level or whatever else your aspirations might be. But it's been a great time to teach this young generation of students who are really hungry to learn more about the business and are really adamant about wanting to do it the right way, and paying close attention to best practices and understanding that our industry is full of fraudulent people, so you have to be very careful about who you align yourself with and who you work with or bring into your inner circle. And specifically, we also cover topics as far as metadata, which we touched on during the panel a little bit, the importance that metadata plays in searchability and organization across the different silos of DSPs, and understanding some of those best practices so that you avoid any issues in terms of takedowns or getting lost in the shuffle, when you want to make the consumer journey as easy and clear as possible.
Okay. Talk to us lastly. I know that you have to go and everybody's wanting your expertise. Selfishly, I would keep you here for hours. However, can you please talk to me about Monark Entertainment? What's the mission behind it? And how do people collaborate with you?
So at Monark Entertainment, we support artists at every level, whether it's someone who has newly decided that they want to release music and really know nothing about the business, or if it's someone that has had global commercial success for years and years. We can plug in accordingly depending on what their goals are and what they're trying to achieve. We customize our approach based on what those goals are and identifying what budgets they may have. And I think the other key component is education. Even some of the most established artists don't understand the inner workings of the business side of the industry or how certain platforms work or work together. And that's something that we really enjoy getting to do, and walk artists through, making sure that they're exercising all of those tools and resources, and hopefully, inspiring that, new fandom and consumption at a level that meets their satisfaction.
This created a follow-up question, but could you tell me what has been like one of the most common surprises for those that are coming from the outside looking in and actually entering into the music business about the business portion of the business?
I think people assume that the music business is simple and that it's not very complex and it doesn't take a cerebral person to penetrate it, and that is incorrect. It's extremely layered and it's extremely complex, There's a lot of moving parts and pieces and details that go into setting up a release, making sure that you meet the specs and the requirements necessary to release an audio single or a video. Effectively working with the platforms that make your content available, how to maximize relationships on that level, other brand partnerships, other extensions of music promotion, understanding how revenue is executed in the music space is extremely complex, with royalties at different levels being collected by different companies and entities. So there's a lot that goes into it, and understanding how to put the right team in place to help support the goals of the artist, and again, to bring them into the spotlight in a manner that's going to drive longevity and not just a moment in time.
Not somebody you can argue with, somebody who's run the digital marketing campaigns for Rihanna, Kanye, Mary J, all household names, global names. Ms. Karla Ortiz, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Hype Magazine, hey, we're out of here. Peace.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
Cause I'm black.
Why you so amazing?
Cause I'm black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty, you will only aim in life to be royalty.
We're doing it right now. I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of.
Shout out to Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.